Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for?
Sean is a master. He teaches. It's not just about sharing the formula with you. It's about making sure that we learn.
I went from $100,000 in debt from law school to having no money and starting my own law firm on my credit card to selling it 4 years later.
Sean and I, we co-created massive victories in 2 unwinnable jury trials, which are recognized nationally now as top 100 jury verdicts.
To be even on the same track with you, who I respect and admire and love with all my heart.
Never again submit. You're not better and you're not less than any human on earth.
When you shared with us about the Unblinded process and the mastery sales training, I just went, wow.
Sean will gain proximity to the most influential and powerful people. He will find out how he can grow their business, how he can help them personally. But the third thing that he does is the most important. Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You have very, very high-performing colleagues.
22 years ago, you transformed my life as you did all of these people's lives over the course of time. And I couldn't be more grateful. Let's hear from Tony Robbins.
I don't see him as a lawyer, and I don't see him as a blind person. Someone who has subjugated his ego, who has taught me what serving really looks like.
You have this incredible ability to just have unconditional love for everyone, and that is just an incredible gift.
The moment you have been waiting for.
The American Blind Association is the first new face and voice of that association since Helen Keller.
Formula for formulas, which is exactly what I've learned from Sean. It's a language-based predictable model. We will have over 300 new sales meetings this month.
This superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. If you believe that, say yes. If you believe that, say yes.
Do you think that worked? Tuesday, what is happening with you?
I am feeling extraordinary coming off our first live in-person event since before COVID, bringing together such incredible leaders this weekend, Sean Callagy. So that is what's present. Thank you. And how about you?
500 incredible people, including yourself, Gina. It was just extraordinary from Thursday through Monday, different groupings. Wild stuff. There might even been some adventures and craziness yesterday. But let's see what's happening with these incredible people. Your voice sounds a little bit off, Gina. Mine might as well. It was, there's a lot happening.
Yes.
So, Gina, who are we honored, privileged, grateful, blown away by having here today? Who we got?
Okay, Sean Callagy. We have like the Florida contingency today. This super lawyer was born a vegan. She's a regular on major networks for her legal expertise and is the founder and CEO of Be Veg. Sean, you're going to love this because I know how much you like vegan food. She is the global leader for vegan certification services. I, on the other hand, love it, love it, love it. Carissa has done extraordinary things in the world. She's an extraordinary woman. And Carissa, welcome, welcome, welcome to The Real Raw.
Thank you. And I'm also a lawyer with a law firm that turned into an entrepreneur that went after my passions because I believe that you can achieve whatever you set your mind to. And I wrote a book called The Laws That Matter. And I think it's very aligned to your video of what you just said, because it's about how human law is an intended version of these higher universal laws. And that if we learn to work within these laws, that it's not really an adversarial process like we're trained for it to be. Though I still have a personal injury law firm that is very robust, but the vegan certification global entity that I founded is really where my passion and future lies.
No, Chris, that is truly outstanding. Thank you for the intentionality, the heart, all the things. And yes, our firm in my office is a Callagy Law here today. And what we talk about is fundamentally changing the way people feel about attorneys one client at a time through our caring, urgency, and aggression. And Unblinded, of course, we're here to have leaders cause leadership to come together to make the world an even greater place. While that sounds hyperbolic, it's how you create value together. So thank you for this shared experience that you're participating in today. Here's to a non-adversarial system when we're all in integrity, on the same side of the table. And until then, we may have to drop a lightning bolt or two while people catch up and they're still in a lower vibrational non-integra space, which, Chris, I'm sure is a part of your dynamic and world. And how about your fun fact today?
Fun fact, vegan from birth and was a professional ballet dancer before turned into a lawyer.
Wow. Also, where did you perform in your professional ballet career?
Well, I was accepted into American Ballet Theater in New York and New York City Ballet, but I performed professionally throughout my educational career. So that led me to dancing with the Oakland Ballet when I was in law school at Berkeley Law. And then when I was at Northwestern getting my master's in journalism, I danced at the Joffrey Ballet and a couple of other companies like Ballet Florida when I was in Florida, and Dance Alive was another professional company in Florida. But maintained it throughout my entire career because, you know, it's kind of consistent with the laws that matter to you, just being able to live your life on point and in balance. And that change is really the only constant. So you have to live your life in motion.
Well, Chris, outstanding. And again, what part of Florida are you in today?
I'm in Jupiter, Florida.
Jupiter's in the house. Carissa, welcome to the party. Gina, who's rolling with Carissa?
All right, we got Miami rolling with Carissa, Mr. Carell Suarez coming to us from Miami. Sean, this gentleman.
Carell?
Carell.
Yes, Carell with a K. Karel.
Carell, right?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
So that sounds like a beautiful singing tandem or duo. This is like a duo. Tell us about Carell.
Oh, he immigrated to this country, Sean, at 19 years old with no family, no English, and with only the clothes on his back, worked hard to become the managing partner at the legal team, working with complex commercial litigation, international law. He's extraordinarily heart-centered. He is, you know, we're just so glad you're here with us today. Welcome, Carell. Welcome to The Real Raw.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, it's a pleasure. I've seen the shows before, and I was excited, looking forward to be here. And I think, you know, when I've seen your videos, Sean, and your message is pretty much what I want to do with the legal team. I went on my own last year, and that's what I created, the legal team. And the idea behind the name is that I want to be the legal team of all my clients. The same way that the big companies have a legal department, I want to create that for small and mid-sized businesses that maybe they don't have a way to pay an in-house counsel, but they can have someone there that could be not just their attorney, but the counselor, and someone that they can call, that they can feel that comfort and they can feel safe, you know, because a lot of times, you know, people talk about attorneys and that, you know, that they don't feel safe or that, you know, we charge a lot of money, but I want to keep charging a lot of money, but I just want them to still feel safe at the same time, you know, that they know that they're spending the money, but that their money is well used, and, you know, and I care for them, that I care for the clients, you know.
Awesome. Carell, your energy and heart are present. Congratulations on your
Thank you.
journey. And what is your fun fact?
Fun fact, I was a professional salsa dancer. So I danced in the Super Bowl in 2007, right? So the funny thing about that, I came from Cuba in 2006, right? And September 2006, and I danced at competitions, and they told me that I had to go on audition for this big game, and they call the Super Bowl, and I'm like, well, what is the Super Bowl? You know, like, what is it? Like, you know, I just came from Cuba, so I don't know anything about that. They're like, what do you mean you're gonna dance in the Super Bowl? I'm like, what is it? The game that just people just, you know, hit at each other and they fall on top of each other? I'm like, yeah, that's the Super Bowl. I was like, well, yeah, I guess I'm dancing on that. Then years after, you know, when I say, I was like, shit, I was dancing in the Super Bowl. You know, at that moment, I was like, okay, I just for the dancing, you know.
Well, we have salsa, we have ballet, we have Super Bowls, we have vegan leadership. We have it all today on The Real Raw on this Trajectory Tuesday. So thank you for that, brother. Gina, who are judges for these two wonderful, courageous, and vulnerable people?
Yes, our judges today are beginning with Brooke Bolts out of the area of Orlando, Florida, Sean. She is a mother of three, first of all, lawyer for 13 years who owned her own practice for 3.5 years, and is an injury and insurance attorney with her own firm. Welcome, Brooke. Welcome to The Real Raw.
Thank you.
Hi, Brooke. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Happy to be here.
And what is your fun fact?
My fun fact, I think this is the day of professional athletes. I played for a women's professional football team in my younger days, tackle football, the Orlando Fire and the Daytona Beach Barracudas.
Wow. What position?
I played a couple positions, but the primary one I played was linebacker.
Nice. Lighting people up all over the field. How did you get into playing football?
I started playing actually when I was a kid. My dad was a huge football fan, and I had a brother a few years younger than me. And so when my brother needed to practice, my dad, I was his practice mate. And so my dad was assisting one of the coaches one time and said, "Hey, are girls allowed to play on this team?" And they said, "Yeah, we just haven't really ever had any that wanted to." And so he said, "Well, I have a daughter who's better than half of these boys out here." And so he came over to me, and I was on the cheerleading squad at the time. And he said, "Guess what? You can play on the football team." And I was like, "I want to be a cheerleader," And he said, "You can be a cheerleader anytime in your life, but you'll only be able to play football a couple times. And so you should use this opportunity." And so I did. I played as a kid on the boys tackle teams when I was 10 and when I was 12. And then had the opportunity again when I was in college to play for those professional teams.
That is awesome, Brooke. Love hearing it. Appreciate you being here today. Yes, it is the day of professional athleticism present. So, Brooke, thanks for joining us.
That is so cool. Sean,
Money.
I don't know. Yes, I'm not sure if you are. Your screen's covered at this moment, but I will roll it. There we are.
Okay. So yes. So who else do we have?
Okay, coming from Tupelo, Mississippi, the birthplace of rock and roll. Oh, sorry, take that back. Tim just had to. This gentleman is not joining us today. However, Ralph Johnson, CEO of financial rock star, role model, financial mentor, coach, and businessman, like crushing it in the field of financial. Welcome, Ralph Johnson. I'm not sure where in the world you're coming from, but glad you're here. Welcome to The Real Raw.
Hello. How are you guys?
Great, Ralph. Where are you coming from?
Chicago, Illinois.
Nice. Chicago is in the building. I was just with a dear member of our elite as we had our extraordinary weekend. And as we're heading on a bus back, he is from Chicago also, having beautiful conversations. He just had a wonderful exit for multiple 8 figures. So wonderful conversation. Chicago, fresh in my mind from last evening. And what say you, sir, as your fun fact? What's your fun fact, Ralph?
Fun fact about me, guys, is that back in 2007, 2008, I still hold the record for the 100-meter dash, the county record in Illinois. So DuPage County, Illinois. I still hold the record since 2008.
What'd you run the 100 in?
It was 10-8.
That's no joke, my friend. 10-8. That is no joke. That is awesome. What did you do after high school? Did you continue with that?
Yeah, I went to I graduated from Wheaton North High School in Wheaton, Illinois. And then I went on to pursue my football career in college and also my business degree at Rockford University, right here in Rockford, Illinois. And then I went on to a seminary school to get my master's degree in communications, and I have a bachelor's in human services, guys.
Nice. Well, Ralph, welcome to the party. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here today.
Absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt, Ralph. Where the flag that you have behind you? Where is the flag? The flag from where?
That's the Chicago flag.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, G Money, we got some
Yes.
stuff. What else we got?
All right. Last but certainly not least, this man, Mr. Lionel King, he always has positive energy. He loves to see the underdog win. Sean sounds like somebody I know. Always finding time to collaborate and brainstorm. He has been in the real estate industry for over 30 years, splitting his time as an investor and a realtor, and spends his entire life as an entrepreneur and always giving back to his community. Welcome, Lionel King, to The Real Raw.
Lionel, how are you?
There we go. All right. Hey, I'm good. How about you guys?
Doing great. And what is your fun fact, Lionel?
Oh man, I was sitting there trying to think of that when I was listening to everybody. I would probably say, oh, sorry about that. Fun fact: I was a rapper in the '90s.
No
And
way.
yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So in my neighborhood where I grew up and where we recorded, we had all in one studio: Tupac, Master P, E40. Man, that's like any rapper that came through the '90s was in that studio. So got a lot of cool stories, met a lot of cool people. Good times.
That is super awesome. Did you do ballet while you rapped?
No, I was just more of the excited rapper. I was more that guy.
Tupac lives today on The Real Raw. So Lionel, thank you for being here and appreciate you very much. Let's get this thing going. Gina Ricci,
yes.
Who's going first?
All right, it's the Carissa and Carell band, but I'm going to go with Carissa first.
Hey.
All right. Carissa, so Gina will be anybody you want her to be. This is about going from hello to yes with integrity. Gina, is my camera good? Ron?
Yes, perfect.
Awesome.
Yes.
So it's about going from hello to yes because everything happens after yes. The rise of our money, our time, and most importantly, our magic. The impact, the contributions, the things we put out there in the world. That's what happens after yes in our marketing, our selling, our managing, our leading, which are two different things, our recruiting and our fundraising, whether for profit or nonprofit, it all begins after yes. So Carissa, that's what the game we're playing, but it's a heart-centered Integris game, not Wolf of Wall Street meets Boiler Room. Gina, be anybody you want her to be. What's a yes that would matter to you in the world? And therefore, who would you like Gina Ricci to be?
Exactly who she is.
Nice. G Money, you will be Gina G Money, getting chased by rock stars around the Jersey Shore. Ricci. So Gina, take us in.
I can be me well. Thank you. All right, let's go, Carissa.
Take us in.
So, like you're calling me. Ring, ring.
Okay. Hi, Gina. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's nice to be here today and get to know you. How's your day?
It's going really well. Thank you. And yours?
It's going lovely. I'm busy as usual, running a law firm and a global business and being an entrepreneur and making moves in this world, and believe that it all starts with you. So how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. So how can I help you?
Well, I don't know. Why don't you tell me how you can help me?
Well, so you gave me a call. What were you looking for? What is it that you do? And
well, I build businesses from scratch. I started my law firm from scratch. I started my law firm about 9 years ago, and I'm found another passion and transitioning into that. And like Sean just said, I believe that it all does begin with yes. As long as you know what you want to go after in this world, you just say yes and you go for it. You don't think twice about it. I think our doubts are the thing that takes us away from where we really want to go. But you guys called me and I'm here on the Real Raw show. So this is real and raw. So why don't you tell me how you can contribute to my journey and my path, which I totally believe is all about saying yes to the universe and saying yes to the present moment, and really not giving into your detractors, and realizing that we live in this law-based universe and that these universal laws are here to work with you, not against you. And I think we all have the right to operate within these laws and witness these laws at play. You don't have to go to law school to practice these universal laws. It's your birthright. And building your own business and making that transition like Sean did from selling his practice and having student debt, I can relate to. That. I went to law school. I had my own debts. I was a prosecutor. I worked at Greenberg Traurig, a big global law firm. Hated it. Hated being in a sweatshop. Found my ballet teacher who she had Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and was found in a 1-star county nursing home. And I basically quit my law job, took her into my house, took over power of attorney, brought her home, and started my own practice. And I
Wow.
didn't know how I was going to do it. And I just trusted that I would somehow do it because I was practicing karmically correct, with integrity, laws. And fast forward 9 years, and I've been taking care of her. I bought her an apartment next to me. She's there in hospice now, but I built a very successful multi-state law firm. I went from student debt to 7 figures and started a whole global business based on the passions that I believe in, which seems very aligned with Sean's message and your show. So you're doing this every day. So I wouldn't want you to be anyone but you, and tell me how you can help.
So we're going to create a quick pause there, Chris. That's outstanding. The dynamic usually of the role play is like going from hello to yes with something that you're seeking yes about. We'll explain a little bit more about that in a bit. But what I'm hearing you say, that you believe in people, you believe in the power of facing your fears by feeling the fear and doing it anyway. You believe in the power of saying yes. And you've done as an entrepreneur in 2 different ventures. And a lot of folks don't realize how difficult and challenging it is to build your own law firm. And Chris, I know you know this. Folks see it as, oh yeah, of course lawyers make money. It's one of the most competitive and complex businesses to create, I think, out there in the space of entrepreneurship. And Carissa, it's extraordinary what you've done in building your own firm and also your own other entrepreneurial venture. So we have more to come back with, but thanks for getting us kicked off here.
No problem.
All right, so Carell, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Who would you like Gina to be in? Carell, the outcome is like you're seeking a yes from Gina. She could be like an ideal client of yours, for example. Right. She could be something else, but like who would you like her to be? Yeah, please.
She can be Gina.
Amazing. Gina, this is easy.
Yes, Sean.
Let's go. Take this.
I love it. Yes.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello. This is
Hello, Gina. Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I heard you had an amazing time yesterday.
I did. We had an extraordinary event the past few days. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
So Gina, I don't know if you know much about me. I actually, I'm the managing partner of the legal team. It's a commercial litigation company. We also do corporate law. We're minority owned. And the idea behind the legal team, and when we started, last year, it was I want to be able to get to clients. And when I say clients, meaning people that own businesses or that they have, different type of entrepreneurship ideas, and be kind of like the right hand, and be that person that they call, that person that they feel that they're not going to charge in every minute, that is not going to charge in every phone call. There's going to be someone that is going to be along the path with them. I want to be able to be more than an attorney. I want to be able to be a counselor, someone that you can feel like your partner. So let me ask you, Gina, do you work for Unblinded or you have your own separate company?
I work for Unblinded.
Are you an employee or you're an independent contractor for Unblinded?
I am an employee, a very grateful employee here.
Perfect. So, as maybe what we can do, I wanted to see maybe we can set up a call with, with your boss or maybe the owner of Unblinded. My idea would be I wanted to sit down and, for free. I mean, doesn't have to be anything that I'm going to charge. And what I do with most of the clients when I meet for the first time, I sit down and I go through all the structure of the company. Do they have a contract for this? Are they thinking about this? Because as a litigator that I am too, I'm always thinking, if you don't have this, what is going to happen? What are the consequences if you don't have this in place? And maybe we can have something, set up together that we can go over. And maybe, after you decide, hey, I want to do this, or I don't want to do this, or that's a good idea. But that's what I want to do. I want to see if maybe we can have a meeting, with your boss and maybe sit down and talk more about, their business and how they're, they're structured and all that.
Yeah, that sounds extraordinary. We love to explore alignment and see what we could potentially co-create together. So I would absolutely love to do that with you, Carell.
Perfect. Do you think that maybe I can send you some days for next week and we can set it up?
Yes, definitely.
Perfect.
That sounds like a plan.
All right, I'll send you an email later today. We'll be in touch.
Okay, perfect. I'm very grateful. I love to hear your passion and your purpose. So I look forward to it.
Thank you, Gina.
How'd that feel for you?
Good job.
Feels great.
All right, let's see what the judges have to say, and then we'll be back. So, Brooke, so what do you have first? Let's start with Carell, and then we'll jump over to Carissa. 30 seconds what worked, 15 seconds on what could be optimized, 15 seconds on what, 15 seconds what worked, 15 seconds what could be optimized, and a score, please, Brooke, on a scale of 1 to 10 for the extraordinary Carell, please.
What I think worked is that he was not trying to get her to actually purchase the product or whatever, make a decision today, just trying to take it to the next step, which is setting up a phone conference with the boss. So I think that's easier for her to say yes to. So I thought that was good. What could be optimized? I think that it just could be abbreviated a little bit to kind of tell your story quickly, because I think that was a compelling story, but say it a little bit quicker because people just, time is money. And what was the last thing I was supposed to say? A score?
A score, yes, your score from 1 to 10.
I give it an 8.
Nice, Brooke. Thank you. Ralph, what do you, I'm sorry. No, let's do it, Brooke. Brooke, what did you have for Carissa?
For Carissa, I just think that because she was in the hot seat going first, I don't think she knew what she was trying to get the yes for. And I think I would have done the same thing because I didn't understand that we were supposed to come prepared with that either. So it's not a criticism. It's just, I don't think she understood like I was, I would have been the same, what we were trying to get a yes to. So, but I think her story and the things that she shared, she was really good at building relationship. And I think that the person she relayed would be someone that Gina would be interested in connecting with further.
And your score?
So I think I would give her a 6 because, I think the goal was to get to a yes, and I don't know that we reached that.
So let me ask you this quick question, Brooke. What's a yes that you're seeking in the world? Like, what would be a yes?
Well, so that's what I was unclear of too. Like, in the world, what am I seeking? I'm seeking in my is this like my particular business? What am I seeking? I'm seeking people to refer me cases, I think.
Okay, cool. And what kind of cases? So who would you be seeking a yes from to refer you? What kind of case most optimally?
Personal injury and insurance cases.
Cool. And who would you be seeking those? Like, where would you look? So the work that we do here, right, and this is like going even slightly deeper than we normally do. We spent 55 hours coming off of this weekend. We had people from more than 25 states present with us across this extraordinary time. And what I discovered a long time ago is that there's a mechanism and a formula that, and it's both rooted in heart and rooted in math. And quantitatively, the concept of randomized networking is disastrous. Compared, it's like if we were going to look for treasure, would we just randomly start jumping in the ocean in Florida or New Jersey or California and hope to find like a sunken pirate ship randomly? Like, I don't think so, right? So the more we can evolve and innovate optimally where we're going to be seeking our yeses from, the sharper things become. So the work we're doing here is about how do you create more money in less time with more magic. And Einstein says, make everything as simple as possible, but not simpler. So how did I build a 40-person law firm 2 years out of law school? I had no money. I had no relationship capital, and I had no mentor in the world who could teach me to do anything. And I had a lot of folks I was working for in a very large law firm who were telling me, quite frankly, in hindsight, all the wrong things. They were saying, go to beefsteak dinners in the Bar Association, meet judges, carry a business card. That was the height of their business development suggestions. And it was remarkable to me when I began to understand where to seek yeses from, and not in isolated referral dynamics, but in creating residual ecosystem merging relationships that were sustainable, mutually viable. So that's much deeper than we're talking about, but I couldn't more adamantly suggest to everyone, the more we're understanding where to create those things with a massive intentionality, the more we're building and accelerating. So loads more to say about that. And yes, I literally did speak for 55 hours over 5 days. And I feel like I got hit by 3 buses. So maybe I need a personal injury lawyer, Brooke, or at least a workers' comp. People are like driving me forward like crazy. But does that make a little bit of sense when you think about like what might be an optimal yes from a group? Launching my law firm originally, it was a yes from the Northern New Jersey Chiropractic Society. Building that relationship and then creating it with the Neurosurgical Society, the Hospital Association, the State Medical Society, and then replicating that in other states across the country led to collecting $500 million plus on behalf of medical providers from insurance companies, as well as lots of other things. So it's like that intentionality of yes, and then how to go about it is what we're playing with here. Does that make some sense or no?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So what would be a yes? Like what might be a phenomenal sourcing of folks that need your brilliant services? Like where might you find somebody who knows lots of folks like that?
So in the insurance realm, I think I've got that kind of figured out. That's like public adjusters and roofers. And so I kind of have that. I have a good grasp on that. Where I've had the more difficult time is in personal injury cases, because really what people tell me is it's doctors, but doctors are wanting quid pro quo. You send me one, I'll send you one type of thing. And that's kind of the challenge. So aside from that, I haven't found what you're, a referral partner, so to speak, to pursue.
Yeah.
You could, I'm sorry to turn, but you could also, Brooke, you could also find attorneys like us, like for example, that we don't do that type of practice, that can recommend you those type of cases when they come along. I mean, we all have friends, we all have people that usually come and say, hey, I have this case, and you have to say, listen, I don't do it, but I have this person that can, in Orlando, that can definitely help you with that. And that, that's a good resource to get referrals,
I can relate to what Brooke is saying, though, as a personal injury lawyer. It's not like your biggest referral source is sometimes your former clients, and they're not necessarily the best client when they come back for a repeat accident, because then the case is not as valued as high, because then they have pre-existing injuries and they've been through it before and they're serial plaintiffs. But I think that, like Brooke, how long have you had your practice?
Yeah, can we just jump in, guys? This is awesome. I appreciate this fully. Let's keep going through the judging and the scoring, because this is what we're here to sort of more specifically create how we create influence. I can tell you right now, those are wonderful thoughts and strategies, but there's also a dynamic of those are limited quantitatively. So the energy it takes to create a relationship with an attorney who is not directly, think of math for a second, right? And this is what I teach, this is what I do, right? So think of the math of how do you create a sustained ongoing relationship with a business attorney to refer you their personal injury cases, and how many of those cases do they see in a given year? And you go, well, but it's better than nothing, right? And it's something that's very true, right? So what I think about, though, and talk about is where do you go for the optimal? And for example, if you think of the AARP, does anybody know what the AARP stands for? Yeah. And what is that?
It's the Association of the Retired People, right?
Absolutely. And do you know who started it? And why?
No.
Yeah. Colonial Penn Life Insurance. And they created it to sell life insurance. So when you think about dynamics and organizations and structures, there's rehab facilities that are treating people who are tragically and horrifically injured. And there's a lot of shenanigans and wrongdoing that goes on, for example, in the space of personal injury. And a lot of those folks have attorneys already because they've been unethically, inappropriately, and sometimes criminally solicited by runners, et cetera, right? So there's a lot of crowded dynamics in the space. However, at the same time, and by the way, I've litigated cases across the country on some issues like that. So longer story for a different thing. So, but there are also amazing people that work with those people that care about them and care about the level of their representation, how they're being treated. So an amazing potential source. Like, I always think of where are the people we want to represent gathered? Where do those people gather? All of them, highest density concentration, because that's the least amount of repetitive work in business development we need to do.
Right.
So those folks may congregate in long-term rehab facilities. There may be hospital case managers that work with people like this. And of course, it would have to be fully ethical and appropriate. And there's a lot of folks like that do unethical and appropriate things. Throw those people away. Like, over there, no good. But there's tons of people that all they really care about is making sure people are appropriately treated. And if you create a relationship, like Oprah Winfrey said, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. It is mind-numbing what can happen. I'm in a space that most of what the work that I did in the state of New Jersey and now do in other states is a quid pro quo level of work, where I've done medical revenue recovery work for physicians. I don't really do personal injury work, never did. And a lot of those folks are like, okay, I'll give you my work in medical revenue recovery if you can refer me personal injury cases. And maybe 60 to 70% of medical providers are in that headspace. We found 30 to 40% who didn't behave and act that way and care about those things, and had the highest volume of claims: hospitals, surgical centers, neurosurgical societies that did relatively smaller amounts of personal injury. And we were allowed to create massive relationships like that. So all the work we're talking about and what we're seeking to do are to work with people who are not quid pro quo, because quid pro quo breaks down immediately. A different quid pro quo might look like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do an event and you are involved in, I don't know, interoperative monitoring, and you want to meet people that caseworkers and neurosurgeons, for example. So what if we do an event where I'm a personal injury attorney, you're in interoperative monitoring, and somebody else is in financial services, and they want to meet high-level physicians or groups of physicians connected to hospitals or long-term care facilities for people who've been injured, in accidents, et cetera. So let's do a speaking engagement about hope, about post-COVID, bringing business people like that together, or medical professionals, and let's do a speaking engagement. Let's connect and meet folks, and you're there and creating a dynamic that sources new and additional business. So yes, that you might be seeking, for example, Brooke, might be, how do you cause a person who's a case manager in a hospital, that 1 out of 15 people they see or 25 people they see might be involved in a very serious rehab from personal injury, but they might see 50 to 100 people like that a year. And X percentage of those people who are in major accident situations are going to be very, very, very unhappy with the person that they were inappropriately solicited by, who now has lost their phone number and now just has their case, and they're going to be looking for a second opinion from an attorney. And what if you're sourcing 25 second opinions like that a year, and you built a relationship with a person like that, as opposed to somebody who doesn't really see those kinds of dynamics? So that's way deeper than we ever go here. That's something we'd have done for 4 hours across this weekend. The game that what we're typically playing, though, is the more present we are to sourcing those optimal yeses. And you said something, Brooke, I love, and it's true. And we're trying to change that, which is, hey, I'm not really sure what the person I'm seeking an optimal yes from is. And the work we create initially is, let's be really clear, because the most precious resource we have is 168 hours in a week.
Yeah.
68. Nobody's changing that. What do we do with 68? And so, Brooke, is that making some sense or no?
Yes, definitely makes sense.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Brooke. Let's jump in. Ralph, what do you have for Carell?
For Carell, her approach was very genuine. She seemed very passionate about her message, what she was trying to relate to us. And I felt it, I'm like, wow, she has, she wanted to switch her business and career path, totally, due to, her having to care for someone. I really felt that. And I give her a 8.5.
Nice. And I'm sorry, that was for Carell or Carissa?
That was for Carissa.
Carissa, okay, great. And for Carell?
For Carell, he kept his approach. Basically, you were really straight to the point. what it was that you were trying to get across, to get your point across. Really straight to the point, very direct. You were very informative in your approach as well. And man, you definitely, you sold me for sure. So with that being said, man, I would give you a 9.5 for that.
Excellent job.
Nice.
Thank you. And Lionel, please, what'd you have for Carissa?
Sean Callagy, it looks like we're a little bit more of an intimate group. I think Lionel was having some Wi-Fi issues, and we're trying to get him back.
All right.
So,
But so let me drop in. So I think Carell, you did an outstanding job. Your intentionality was phenomenal. You knew exactly what you were seeking yes for, which was essentially an audit through Gina with Unblinded ownership. Hello, and to audit and review the things that that every company is going to have problems with.
Correct.
Every company is going to have problems with their contracts. Every company is going to have a ton of stuff for you to do and add value in. And it was like, hey, like your yes was, let's do a complimentary review. Let's have a conversation. So loved it. To Ralph's point, I think a little more rapport building, a little more dropping in with Gina. Like once it became like, oh, Gina, like you're not the owner, who's your boss? That could create like a dynamic of like, it might have sounded could have sounded a little bit like, so, hey, Gina, let me ask you a question. Like, what's the mission about? Like, what do you do? Right? Like a moment like that. But aside from that, you really did an outstanding job. So congratulations. And I would agree in the 9s.
It was tough in 3 minutes. It was tough in 3 minutes to get to, I usually do an hour and a half with each of the clients. So 3 minutes, it was really tough.
How about this? How about you give me a scenario, right, that I got to go from hello to yes in those 3 minutes.
Okay.
And I've been, so you get to put me on the hot seat. So I've been everything from President Biden to President Trump. I've had President Biden have to talk to President Trump about getting alignment from the Republicans. I've had to be President Trump, having President Biden continue the wall. I've been eliminated salesperson. I've had to propose marriage in 3 minutes to keep me legally. I've had to get the last plane ticket from somebody who just got it, so to fly home for something. The only request is that it's integrous. Like I'm not selling swampland in the middle of Manhattan. So would you like to set a scenario where I got to go from hello to yes on something?
Yes. So let's say you are the owner of Carnival, right? You're the owner of Carnival Cruise Lines, and you're trying to say that in order to get on a cruise, people have to wear a mask. That's mandatory.
Yes.
I'm the Florida governor, and I want to pass a law that you cannot, force people to wear a mask to get on a cruise.
Nice. So I'm talking to the governor of Florida.
Yes.
To get the governor to pass a law or create support for a law that would, or regulation that would have no mandate of wearing a mask on a cruise ship. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
Yeah, that is awesome. And who would you like to be the governor of Florida? Would you like to be the governor, or would you like somebody else here to be the governor?
I mean, let's in order for Raf, to just get on, to talk a little bit more, let's say that Raf is the governor of Florida.
I love it.
And Raf, Governor of Florida is a Republican, and that means that he's, against, being on any of these mandates for it's mandatory to wear a mask. And, so you don't want people to wear a mask. They go on a cruise, they can just go without a mask. Okay.
Yep. But so is who I am the owner of Carnival. This sounds like a pretty easy yes, though, because the governor is going to agree with me, correct? Or no?
No. You, as the owner of Carnival, you want people. You're requiring people to wear a mask.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want the governor to change the law to make people wear masks.
Correct.
Oof. Okay. Amazing. All right. Thank you. All right, let's do it. So, hey, Governor Ralph, how are you?
How are you, sir?
Yeah. Hey, and thanks so much for taking the meeting with me today. I know we only have about 3 minutes, and I know we're not going to be able to get all the way there, but my hope is that we can create some resonance that would create a longer meeting. But again, thank you so much on this Tuesday for taking your time. So thank you.
No problem.
So Governor Ralph, if I may, and I'm very present to the clock, just acknowledge you. you've created a massive amount of acceleration in the state of Florida. People like you, not everyone, of course, but you have a lot of support, a lot of momentum, and there's a lot of folks flocking to live in your state. And the conversation we're going to have is a really challenging one, because what has been so much of the acceleration that you've created has been in the space of openness. And that's why, from a tax perspective, your state is causing people to move from all over the place for favorable tax treatment. You've been on the cutting edge of openness. I know you've taken a lot of heat from other people across the country, and I want to acknowledge your courage, your heart, your stand, and all the things that you've done. And I think this is why some people are talking to you about potentially being in the presidential conversation. So, Governor Ralph, congratulations for all the things that you've done.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So can I ask you this, like, what's causing it? What do you believe? What do you stand for? And what's creating all this?
So basically, just the health and the safety of the people of Florida, we got these new strands coming out, the cases are rising. And I'm, as the governor, I just want to make sure that, I'm protecting, the people, fine people of Florida. And, I stand by, my laws. I stand by, what I enforce, and that's really my main thing to do, is just protect the people and protect the state of Florida. And we don't want our cases to spike up. We get a lot of tourists here, and cruises, and tourism, and come to our beautiful beaches, and we just can't allow our cases to rise.
Well, appreciate that. So in the last little bit, would it be okay? I acknowledge you for your heart and sensitivity for the people, as well as for the economy and for openness. Would it be okay for me to just, in this last moment, share a little bit about myself?
Sure, absolutely.
So I love America. I love the great state of Florida. And my mission and vision was to provide fun and magic for human beings. I believe in freedom. I believe in capitalism, and I believe in all of it. And I also believe that we're in a really complicated world and space. I think this pandemic is not yet over, and I am present to the fact that additional strains are coming out. And as we look at the world of cruises, my concern, because we're Carnival and we're of an extraordinary size, that we could be at an enormous competitive disadvantage to other people who are not protecting people and causing people to be protected. And it could damage not only the entire cruise marketplace, but create another massive acceleration in the spread of COVID. We're bringing people from all over the country, and at times now all over the world, and bringing them back together. The greatest potential incubator, I think, for the acceleration or recreation of this pandemic is on cruise ships. I don't want anybody to wear a mask. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want any of that present for anybody who comes on one of my ships. But I think it would be grossly irresponsible to not require that. And there's folks that are seeing this as the Wild West all over again. And the new version of the Wild West is allowing people to compete in a way that throws care for human safety to the whims, right? And while I do believe in freedom, I do believe in law, organization, and structure. So I know we're at time, but my simple request is a 30-minute longer conversation, Mr. Governor, to unpack some data that I will be able to show you to say that we will create more economics, and it can boost, even with your base, can boost your popularity by taking this approach and maintaining the openness you do throughout the state of Florida. But there's such a differential in people gathering together in bars and structures versus being from all over the place on cruise ships and traveling internationally and beyond. So, Mr. Governor, how does that resonate with you, just to have an open mind and ear towards what I'm sharing for a 30-minute meeting?
I will consider it.
Right. And can I ask, what would you need to hear more from me to consider having that meeting?
You stated that, you'll bring me some statistics and some facts, regarding, you pleading your case about, the cruise ship. I would just like to hear more about the statistics and the facts, and
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. So, if I assure you I have that data on behalf of Carnival Cruise, I would never waste your time. Can we set that meeting? And if in the first 5 minutes you don't like what you're hearing, you can throw me out of your office and I will leave very quietly with my head down. How does that sound?
I won't throw you out, but I will definitely like to hear what you have to say. Talk to my secretary. Set it up.
Oh, appreciate that. Thank you. Carell, how do we do your scenario?
That was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome. You both actually killed it. Ralph, you even look like the governor. You were like sitting to the side and you're like quietly talking and you're like, I can't even hear what the governor is saying. But it's true, Sean, what you're saying. I think, in that space, you were able to hit a lot of, emotions and a lot of, things that will go to the person's heart and then to their base and to, different points and to, and capitalism and then, different points that were helpful, to go around and bring that person in. I liked it. You were great. I mean, you're the guy. So,
Thank you. And just for fun to make sure we're like, okay, well, you're kind of good at that. I wasn't always good at that and not even close. And there's a mechanism. It's called step 1 is emotional rapport building. Step 2 is pain. Yes. Step 3 is conveyance of heroic conveyance. Step 4 is agreement formation. Being surrounded by 12 indispensable elements: scarcity, matching, mirroring, acknowledgement, loving all people, unconditioning boundaries, level 5 transformational listening, emotional energetic transference, reciprocity, question mastery, validation, and the 3 C's: contrast, context, and congruence. All of which are being interplayed with 4 energies: fun, aspirational, goddess, and Zeus. And so the mechanism and the science for what we're doing. So thank you for that. How did that feel for you, Ralph?
Awesome, man. It's kind of hard being, conservative when you're such a liberal.
Well, listen, brother, here's to this. What if we're just all humans, man? And what if we're all just seeking truth for people? I'm a stand for that. So I just throw that out there as well. So Ralph, thank you for being here today. How was your time on the Raw?
And I appreciated it. I enjoyed myself. I got a chance to really interact with some wonderful people here on this platform, guys. And I really, really appreciate you guys for having me on here today.
Thank you. And how about yourself, Brooke? How was your time with us? And thank you for your courage, your vulnerability, telling us what your yes might be in the world. How was your time on the Raw?
It was great. I learned a lot.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Any questions, any insights? My listening is like, there's like questions present or something in the space.
From me or from somebody else? From anybody?
For you, Brooke. Yeah.
For me, any questions? I'm just still, my mind is still just circling on trying to find who those people are that I could connect with. And, because I see challenges for a lot of the different possibilities. So, I just need to think that through more and also work on some of the persuasive tactics that I saw you implement when you were talking with Ralph.
And that's what we do here. And I'll just share this, Brooke, and I know we're close to time and I want to, hear from our final 2 beautiful folks. There are challenges in every direction. If you're going to build the optimal relationship with your optimal ecosystem partners, it will not be easy. It took me 2.5 years walking into a Tony Robbins room and millions of people want to get on that stage. And 2.5 years later, Tony Robbins said, what Gina will probably mention that he said, I've been on that stage 11 times now. And it took 2.5 years, but there's an optimal relationship to create. And there's ones that take a lot less time than that, for sure. But the story is this: our dopamine addiction as humans, and we're created that way. Like we were built for survival brain to want to create dopamine. It tells us that nice conversations with nice people that say nice things to us and like our posts on Facebook and all the things, it makes us feel like we're making progress when we're really not. But if it took us 1 out of 50 optimal avatars to create a relationship with, that's what causes business to expand. That's how I've been privileged and blessed to build the things I've built that are, I own 8 different companies. You might count them as 12, depending on how you count it. And we're hyper intentional, heart-centered, hyper intentional about creating integrous value exchange relationships with optimal avatars. And I got all kinds of wonderful people saying beautiful things to me, but there's not a lot of value that they might be able to bring to what I'm building and me to them. So I really hone in on like, where can we create the most value? And PS, in case it sounds, intentional and self-serving, we've also had the privilege of raising $5.4 million for charity the last 4 times we've spoken. And those were also intentional dynamics. So those avatars we talked about, you're absolutely right. There are challenges, but those challenges are worth it. And you're extraordinary, Brooke. And I thank you for your trust and investment of time today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Carissa, how was your time with us here today on The Real Raw?
It was fine. And I think I want to just echo basically, what you said, because that's been my experience in terms of like Brooke, I think a lot of what you get in the universe and your yeses are because you just put it out there and you keep trying. I know for me, I've had my personal injury practice for 9 years. The cases keep coming in the door. I don't know how, but they keep coming in, and somehow every year I hit the 7-figure mark. And then with BVeg, our global vegan certification company, it's been many years in the making, and I've reached out blindly to partners that I felt had synergy with us in a strategic alliance. And I reached out to one kosher certification body because I knew they had the infrastructure to help us roll out our program globally with auditors everywhere. And the first certification body said they didn't want to have any part of us because they thought that maybe it would hurt their reputation. And so there was a no. But see, I didn't take that no. And I just kept reaching out to more potential partners. And we just announced last week, we signed a 10-year contract with the world's largest kosher certification body with over 1 million products around the world and over 15,000 factories with field representatives in 105 countries. And the company that initially turned us down wrote me a text saying, hey, congratulations on that partnership, because I totally outdid them. Okay, they're like so small compared to the company that I formed the relationship with. But it took another year, and it took many more efforts. And it took me going on Google and researching who's the CEO of the OU Orthodox Union, world's largest kosher certification firm. And I sent it blindly. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have an in. I just reached out and wrote an email, and I didn't take no. And I think that the universe hears that. And when we live our life and we believe in something and we don't give up, eventually you co-create and you make it happen for yourself. And I think it's very easy to give up sometimes. And I think Thomas Edison said when he made the light bulb, he didn't succeed. He just learned 999 ways how not to do it before he succeeded on the light bulb. So, I think I think I have a similar type of story as Sean here, from going from lawyer to entrepreneur and understanding how to make things happen. Because when you make it happen and you see it happen, you're more of a believer. And sometimes other people need to become a believer by seeing the hope in others, and then they can transmit that and transmute it into their own life. So,
Carissa, so outstanding, and exactly what we're talking about. And what Carissa didn't do was she didn't go to a random networking function and hope to meet that person.
Right.
Do what everybody else did. She sat down, she identified her optimal avatar, her optimal ecosystem partner, and she went out and created. And she went out and created. And she went out and created. And she said something kind of fun, which I think is sort of self-deprecating. And also, I think she knows is untrue, that she doesn't know how it keeps happening, that she hits the 7-figure mark in her practice. Well, I do, and I think she does. And it's because people like her. They trust her, right? They want to keep coming back. And she's intentionally creating relationships continuously, intentionally, and doing a beautiful. Carissa, that's for you. Great job, and thank you for being here. Carell, final from you, brother. How was today?
It was great. It was more than unexpected. The number one thing that I like about being an attorney is the relationship that I have with my clients. So this type of things, I love it. I love to meet people. I just love to meet people, not because I'm trying to find something. It's just because it's you know, it's just a way that is helped in the future, in the past, and it's a way that you create relationships that become friends and become clients and become, you know, my wife, you know. So it's just part of the relationships, and I love that. And if there is a way that I could be more involved with Unblinded, please let me know. I would love to be able to take part of anything that you guys do, even the, you know, the in-person events that you're having in New Jersey. I'll fly to New Jersey. I definitely love what you do, and I definitely love this of meeting other people and, you know, sharing ideas and, you know, hearing what they have to say. And in people, you know, for me, that's my number one priority. I think also because I work in a restaurant for 6 years, and maybe, you know, customer service and clients is always, you know, always first. So, but that's what I love, the relationship with people and with my clients. So.
Well, we're building a ton. Just coming off this weekend, you know, 500 plus fine folks, and we're excited, thankful, and ready to go and expand. So, thank you for those comments. There's plenty to do together.
Nice.
You know, bro, appreciate it. Gina Ricci, final. We have a gift for these fine folks.
We sure do. And I will tell you what Tony Robbins said about Sean Callagy this past fall in a room of like approximately 300 people. He put his hand on his heart, on his hand on his own heart, and his hand on Sean's heart, and said, there is no one that leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callagy. And he called Sean his coach, and Sean, that can never be left unsaid because it is so extraordinary. And Tony does not do that. And what you create is extraordinary. You guys, he laid out the formula. He said it right here, and all of those things. It makes a huge impact, and we are sharing that with you. It's in the chat. It's a gift for you, a little more in detail. Please check it out. Carell, we will connect after this. Definitely look forward to staying connected to you all, and appreciate the impact that you're all making. Really appreciate it. And Sean, back to you.
Listen, Carissa, Carell, Ralph, Lionel, thank you for being here despite the technical difficulties. Brooke, of course, really appreciate your time. Gina, our money, our time, our magic is out there, and we are all, including me, we are all just blind
and learning to see.
All right, thank you.
Ciao for now, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.